Jack Murphy's eyes snapped open, adrenaline flooding his veins as the emergency siren blared. "This is not a drill," the voice crackled. "Xeraxian super soldiers have breached the perimeter." Jack bolted upright, the familiar hum of chaos filling his ears. He grabbed his gear, his movements practiced and efficient, and dashed out of his makeshift bunker. The sky was a murky gray, tinged with the smoke of recent battles, and the distant sounds of gunfire and explosions punctuated the air. "Murphy, you there?" Liam O'Connor's voice crackled through the comms. "On my way," Jack replied, his tone grim. He sprinted through the ruins of what was once a bustling city, now a desolate battlefield. His mind raced as he assessed the situation. The Xeraxians had been relentless since their arrival, their super soldiers nearly unstoppable, but today felt different, more desperate. As Jack turned a corner, he spotted a group of civilians huddled behind a crumbling wall, terror etched on their faces. Without hesitation, he altered his course, his eyes scanning for threats. Suddenly, a Xeraxian soldier emerged from the shadows, its armor glinting ominously. The alien raised its weapon, but Jack was faster. He fired a burst from his rifle, the shots hitting their mark. The Xeraxian crumpled to the ground, and Jack motioned for the civilians to move. "Go now." "Head to the Resistance HQ," he ordered, his voice leaving no room for argument. The civilians scrambled to their feet and ran, casting grateful glances back at him. Jack didn't linger to watch them disappear into the labyrinth of rubble. He continued towards the headquarters, his heart pounding with the urgency of the situation. When he burst into the HQ, the tension was palpable. Resistance fighters were huddled around maps and screens, their faces grim and determined. Liam and Milin looked up as Jack entered, relief washing over their expressions. "Glad you made it," Liam said, clapping Jack on the shoulder. "What's the situation?" Jack demanded, his eyes already scanning the tactical display. "Xeraxians are pushing hard. They're focusing on our northern defenses," Melan reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. Before Jack could respond, Dr. Sophia Clark entered the room, her face illuminated by the glow of her tablet. "We've discovered a way to hack the Xeraxians' neural implants," she announced, her eyes locking onto Jack's. "We need experienced soldiers to lead the mission." Jack hesitated, memories of past failures surfacing. He had lost too many comrades, seen too much death. But the determination in Sophia's eyes was hard to ignore. "Jack, we can't do this without you," Liam urged. "This is our chance to turn the tide." Jack took a deep breath, his resolve hardening. "All right, what's the plan?" Sophia quickly outlined her strategy. "We capture a Xeraxian soldier, hack its neural implant. It's risky, but it could cripple their forces." The room buzzed with renewed energy as Jack took charge. "We move out in 10. Gear up and stay sharp." As the team prepared, Jack's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. He knew the stakes were high, but he also knew that this was their best shot at survival. The Resistance had been fighting a losing battle for too long, and this plan could change everything. Just as they were about to move out, an alarm blared. "Incoming Xeraxian patrol," someone shouted. Jack grabbed his rifle and led the way, his team following close behind. They navigated the rubble-strewn streets, their eyes peeled for any signs of the enemy. The tension was thick, every sound magnified in the eerie silence. Suddenly, a Xeraxian patrol rounded the corner. Jack raised his hand, signaling his team to halt. He studied the aliens, their imposing figures a stark reminder of the threat they posed. With a silent nod, he gave the order to engage. The ambush was swift and precise. Jack's team moved like a well-oiled machine, their training evident in their coordinated assault. Within moments, the Xeraxians were neutralized, and Jack's team secured one of the soldiers. As they restrained the captured alien, Jack couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. This was the beginning of their counterattack, the first step in reclaiming their world. With the alien in tow, they made their way back to the headquarters. Jack's thoughts were focused, his determination unwavering. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he was ready to face it head-on. For the first time in a long while, Jack felt a glimmer of optimism. They arrived at the HQ just as the sun began to set, casting a fiery glow over the ruined city. The sight filled Jack with a renewed sense of purpose. The fight was far from over, but with his team by his side and a daring plan in motion, he was ready to take the battle to the Zeraxians and reclaim their future. Jack burst into the Resistance headquarters, his eyes scanning the chaotic scene. People were huddled over maps, radios crackled with urgent messages, and the air was thick with tension. The rescued civilian, a young woman with a tear-streaked face, clung to his side. "Murphy, over here." Liam O'Connor shouted from across the room. Jack navigated through the crowded space, leading the civilian to a safe corner. "Stay here," he instructed her softly. "You'll be safe now." Liam, a wiry man with keen eyes and a perpetual look of determination, met Jack halfway. "We need you in the war room," he said, his voice low but urgent. Jack nodded, following him through a maze of hallways to the heart of their operations. Inside, Dr. Sophia Clark stood in front of a holographic display, her fingers dancing across the controls. Her sharp intellect was evident in her precise movements and the intensity of her gaze. Mi Lin, a combat specialist with a no-nonsense demeanor, stood beside her, arms crossed and eyes alert. "Jack," Sophia greeted without looking up. "We have a plan, but we need your expertise." Jack's jaw tightened. "I heard the broadcast. What's this about hacking the Zeraxians?" Sophia finally turned to face him, her expression resolute. "We've discovered a way to hack into their neural implants. If we can control one of their super soldiers, we can turn them against their own." Jack's mind raced. It was a daring plan, one that could change the course of the war. But the memories of past failures haunted him. "And what makes you think it'll work?" he asked, skepticism lacing his words. "We've tested it on a captured scout," Sophia replied. "It worked. We just need to capture a soldier with higher clearance to access the main network." Mi interjected, her voice calm but firm. "Jack, we need you. You're the best strategist we've got. Without you, this plan falls apart." Jack looked around the room, seeing the hope in their eyes. They believed in him, even if he struggled to believe in himself. He took a deep breath, pushing past the doubt. "All right," he said finally. "What's the plan?" Sophia activated the holographic display, showing a detailed map of the city. "We'll set up an ambush here." She pointed to a narrow street flanked by tall buildings. "Lure a patrol in, disable them, and capture one of their commanders." Liam chimed in, "I've rigged some EMP devices. They'll knock out their systems long enough for us to grab one." Jack studied the map, his tactical mind already at work. "We'll need to block off escape routes and set up sniper positions here and here," he said, indicating strategic points on the map. Sophia nodded, quickly updating the display. "Agreed. And Mi, you'll lead the ground team." Mi gave a curt nod. "Consider it done." Jack straightened, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "Let's make this happen," he said, determination hardening his voice. As they moved to prepare, an alarm blared through the headquarters. "Incoming patrol," a voice shouted over the intercom. The room erupted into action, people grabbing weapons and taking positions. Jack turned to his team. "Stick to the plan. Liam, get those MPs ready. Mi, position your team." They moved swiftly, each person knowing their role. Jack led them to the ambush site, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and adrenaline. They took their positions, the silence of anticipation hanging heavy in the air. Moments later, the distinct hum of Zeraxian machinery grew louder. Jack signaled to his team, and the EMP devices were deployed. A bright flash and a pulse of energy sent the patrol into disarray, their systems momentarily disabled. "Go, go, go!" Jack ordered, and Mi's team sprang into action. They engaged the disoriented Zeraxians with precision, neutralizing the threats and capturing the commander. Jack approached the captured alien, his eyes cold and calculating. "Welcome to Earth," he muttered, signaling for the team to retreat. They moved quickly, the sounds of battle echoing in the distance. Back at the headquarters, Sophia wasted no time connecting the captured commander to her system. Jack watched as she worked, the screen displaying lines of alien code. "How long?" he asked, his voice tense. "Not long," Sophia replied, fingers flying over the keyboard. Once we break through, we'll have control. The room fell silent, everyone holding their breath as the minutes ticked by. Finally, Sophia let out a triumphant gasp. "We're in!" Jack exhaled, a mix of relief and resolve washing over him. Good. As they began to plan their next move, the reality of their situation sank in. They had taken the first step in a long and dangerous journey. Jack knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but for the first time in a long while, he felt a spark of hope. "Stay sharp, everyone," he said, his voice steady. "This is just the beginning." The team nodded, determination etched into their faces. They were ready to fight, ready to reclaim their world. And with Jack leading them, they knew they had a chance. Jack Murphy crouched low behind the crumbling remnants of a once grand building. The air was thick with tension and the acrid smell of burning debris. He signaled to his team Liam, O'Connor, and Meilin, who mirrored his movements, their eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of the enemy. Their target, a Ziraxian patrol, was advancing methodically through the urban ruins. "Remember," Jack whispered, "we need one alive. We get in, hit hard, and get out." Liam nodded, adjusting his rifle. "Got it. Ready when you are." Meilin gave a curt nod, her expression set with determination. They moved silently, their training evident in every step. The Ziraxians, tall and imposing with their advanced armor, moved with a terrifying precision, their technology far superior to anything humanity had ever faced. Jack's heart pounded as he watched the alien patrol. They were fewer in number than he'd expected, an advantage he hadn't anticipated but welcomed. He motioned to me, who slipped ahead, her lithe form barely a shadow among the ruins. Suddenly, a metallic clang echoed through the street. A civilian, scavenging for supplies, had accidentally knocked over a piece of debris. The Ziraxians turned instantly, their weapons raised. "Now!" Jack barked. Me was a blur of motion, her combat skills honed to perfection. She engaged the nearest Ziraxian with a flurry of blows, using her agility to dodge their powerful strikes. Liam provided cover fire, his shots precise and controlled, designed to distract rather than kill. Jack charged forward, focusing on the Ziraxian commander. The alien turned, its eyes narrowing as it recognized the threat. It raised its weapon, but Jack was faster, tackling the commander to the ground. They grappled, Jack's human strength pitted against the alien's technological might. "Hold him!" Jack shouted, struggling to keep the Ziraxian pinned. Me dispatched her opponent with a final, devastating kick and joined Jack, helping to subdue the commander. Liam's cover fire kept the remaining Ziraxians at bay, buying them precious seconds. "Dr. Clark better be right about this," Jack grunted, securing the alien's arms. Me worked quickly, placing restraints on the Ziraxians' wrists and ankles, designed specifically to nullify their advanced tech. "Got him," Mei confirmed, her breath coming in quick bursts. Liam approached, still scanning for threats. "We've got incoming. We need to move, now." They lifted the struggling Ziraxian, its armor clanking as it tried to resist. Jack could see the hatred in its eyes, a chilling reminder of the alien's purpose to annihilate humanity. "Stay alert," Jack warned as they made their way back to the extraction point. The ruins provided little cover, and the remaining Ziraxians would soon regroup. As they moved, Jack's mind raced. Capturing the Ziraxian was a crucial step, but he couldn't shake the unease gnawing at him. The mission had gone smoother than expected, too smooth. "Something's not right," he muttered. "What do you mean?" Me asked, her eyes darting around. "Where's the rest of their patrol?" Jack replied, "We should have faced more resistance." Liam frowned. "Maybe they're regrouping. Or maybe they wanted us to take this one," Jack said darkly. The thought sent a chill down his spine, but there was no time to dwell on it. They reached the extraction point, a battered but functional van hidden among the debris. They shoved the Ziraxian inside, its struggles growing weaker as the restraints took effect. As they sped away, Jack glanced back at the ruins. His instincts told him the real challenge was yet to come. They had the Ziraxian, but what would they uncover once they hacked into its neural implant? And more importantly, what had the aliens planned? Back at the Resistance headquarters, Dr. Clark awaited them, her lab a chaotic mess of equipment and monitors. "You've got him," she breathed, relief evident in her eyes. "Yeah, but it felt too easy," Jack replied, his suspicion evident. Dr. Clark nodded, already setting up her tools. "We'll know soon enough. Let's get started." The Zeraxian, now sedated, was strapped to an examination table. Dr. Clark worked with methodical precision, attaching wires and probes to its neural implant. "Hold it steady," she instructed as the alien's body twitched. Jack held his breath as the monitors flickered to life, displaying streams of alien code. "Here we go," Dr. Clark murmured, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "This is it." Jack watched intently, knowing this was the moment that could change everything. The screen flashed as Dr. Clark accessed the alien's neural network, the room filled with the hum of machinery. Suddenly, the alien's eyes snapped open, and it spoke in a harsh, guttural voice. "You are too late, human. The end is inevitable." Jack's grip tightened. "We'll see about that." The monitor beeped, signaling success. Dr. Clark smiled triumphantly. "Got it. We can control them now." The makeshift headquarters of the Resistance was a hive of activity, a controlled chaos as alarms blared and voices shouted orders. Jack Murphy stood at the center, his eyes scanning the room, calculating their next move. The air was thick with tension, the sound of gunfire and explosions from outside growing ever closer. "Dr. Clark, how much longer?" Jack barked, his voice cutting through the din. Dr. Sophia Clark, hunched over a terminal, didn't look up. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, sweat beading on her forehead. "I'm close, Jack, but this isn't exactly easy. The encryption on these implants is beyond anything I've seen." Liam O'Connor, crouched next to a window with his rifle, glanced back. "We need more time, Jack. They're throwing everything they have at us." Jack nodded, his mind racing. Take a team and fortify the east entrance. We can't let them breach the command center." Mei Lin gave a sharp nod and rallied a group of fighters, their determination evident despite the odds. As they moved out, Jack turned back to the table where the captured Zeraxian soldier lay restrained, its eyes vacant, but its body twitching with the remnants of neural resistance. "Come on, Sophia," Jack muttered under his breath. "We need this win." Outside, the sounds of battle intensified. The Zeraxian forces were relentless, their super soldiers cutting through defenses with brutal efficiency. Jack's thoughts flickered to the civilians they were protecting, the families huddled in makeshift shelters, praying for a miracle. Dr. Clark let out a triumphant shout. "I've got it! The hack is complete." Jack's heart skipped a beat. "Can you control it?" Sophia nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Yes, but we need to test it. Give it a command." Jack leaned over the alien, his voice steady. "Stand up." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the Zeraxian soldier rose to its feet, its movements jerky but obedient. The room fell silent, every eye on the alien. "It works," Sophia said, her voice a mix of relief and astonishment. "Good," Jack replied. "Now let's see what it knows." Sophia connected her terminal to the alien's neural interface, data streaming across the screen. "It's giving us their command structure, positions, even their battle plans." "This is gold, Jack." Jack's mind raced with the possibilities. "Can you use this to disable the rest of their forces?" Sophia shook her head. "Not remotely. We'd need to get to their command center." Liam turned from the window, urgency in his voice. "Jack, they're breaching the outer defenses. We can't hold them much longer." Jack's jaw tightened. "All right, we use this intel to strike back. We take the fight to them." He quickly outlined a plan, sending teams to key positions based on the aliens' information. As the fighters moved out, Jack grabbed his gear, ready to lead the charge. "Sophia, you stay here and coordinate. Keep that alien under control." Sophia nodded. "Be careful, Jack." Jack gave her a tight smile. "Always." The Resistance fighters moved with purpose, their morale boosted by the new intel. Jack led a squad through the crumbling corridors, every sense alert. They reached a reinforced door, beyond which lay the heart of the Zeraxian command. "On my mark," Jack whispered. 3, 2, 1 breach. The door exploded inward, and they surged through, weapons blazing. The Zeraxians, caught off guard by their own intel being used against them, fell back in disarray. Jack's squad pushed forward, clearing room after room with methodical precision. In the command center, the Zeraxian leader stood, a towering figure of menace. Jack squared his shoulders, locking eyes with the alien. This ends now. The battle was fierce, but Jack's determination was unyielding. With every strike, he thought of the lives at stake, the people depending on them. Finally, the Zeraxian leader fell, and the room went silent. Jack activated his comm. "Sophia, we've taken the command center. Begin the network shutdown." Back at the headquarters, Dr. Clark input the final commands. Across the battlefield, Zeraxian soldiers froze, their neural links severed. The tide had turned. Jack surveyed the command center, his breath coming in heavy gasps. "We did it!" Liam's voice crackled over the comm. "Jack, you need to see this." Jack made his way to a nearby monitor, displaying the battlefield. Human soldiers were regrouping, the Zeraxians in full retreat. A cheer went up from the resistance fighters, a sound of pure triumph. Sophia's voice came through, filled with emotion. "Jack, we've won. We've actually won." Jack allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. "Good work, everyone. Now let's make sure it stays that way." As the humans secured their victory, Jack couldn't help but think of the future. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. Humanity had not only survived, but had found a way to fight back and win. The sleek alien vessel loomed above, its sheer size dwarfing the Earth below. Jack Murphy's heart pounded as the shuttle docked with the Zeraxian mothership. They had come this far, but the hardest part was yet to come. Every breath felt heavy with the anticipation of what lay ahead. The team, clad in Zeraxian armor, pilfered from their fallen enemies, moved with practiced precision. Jack led the way, his eyes scanning for any sign of danger. Behind him, Liam carried the hacking device, and Maylin kept a vigilant watch. The captured Zeraxian soldier, now their unlikely ally, guided them through the labyrinthine corridors. "Keep close and stay quiet," Jack whispered, his voice barely audible through the helmet's comm system. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. They had expected heavy resistance, but the halls were eerily empty. Dr. Clark's voice crackled through the comms. "You're approaching the control center. Remember, the primary objective is to disable their neural network." Jack nodded, though he knew the stakes were higher than just disabling the network. If they succeeded, it could turn the tide of the war. If they failed, humanity's last hope might be extinguished. The control center's massive doors loomed ahead, guarded by a pair of elite Zeraxian warriors. Their imposing figures, bristling with advanced weaponry, were a formidable obstacle. Jack signaled to me, who silently prepared a diversion. As the alien guard turned, distracted by the noise May had orchestrated, Jack and Liam sprang into action. In a swift, coordinated move, they incapacitated the guards, leaving the path clear. The doors slid open, revealing the heart of the mothership. The room was a marvel of alien technology, with holographic displays flickering with incomprehensible data. At its center stood a towering control console, pulsating with a strange energy. The team moved quickly, taking up positions around the room. "Liam, get that hack going," Jack ordered. Liam nodded and rushed to the console, connecting the device and initiating the override sequence. The air was thick with tension as they waited, the seconds dragging on interminably. Suddenly, the doors behind them slammed shut, and an alarm blared. Jack spun around to see a squad of elite Zeraxian soldiers pouring into the room. His heart sank. They were trapped. "Hold them off," Jack shouted, raising his weapon. The room erupted into chaos as bullets and energy blasts flew. Jack's team fought valiantly, each movement precise and lethal. Despite their efforts, the Zeraxians pressed on, their numbers seemingly endless. Amidst the battle, Jack noticed the captured Zeraxian soldier acting strangely. The alien's eyes darted around, and it hesitated before returning fire. Jack's suspicions solidified into certainty. There was a traitor among them. "Liam, how much longer?" Jack demanded, His voice strained as he fired at an advancing enemy. Almost there, just a few more seconds, Liam replied, his fingers flying over the controls. The traitor made its move. The Ziraxian soldier lunged at Liam, but Jack was faster. He tackled the alien, their struggle brutal and quick. With a final, decisive blow, Jack incapacitated the traitor, ensuring Liam's safety. "Liam, finish it," Jack yelled. Liam's eyes widened in determination. He completed the final sequence, and the console emitted a loud, resonant hum. The mothership shuddered as the override took effect. Alien soldiers collapsed, their neural links severed. Jack turned to see me, bruised but standing tall. "We did it," she said, a mixture of relief and disbelief in her voice. Before they could celebrate, the floor beneath them trembled violently. Jack's comm crackled to life with Dr. Clark's urgent voice. "You've destabilized the core. You need to get out, now." "Move, everyone!" Jack ordered. They raced through the corridors, retracing their steps with the ship's alarm blaring in their ears. Explosions rocked the vessel, the mothership beginning to tear itself apart. They reached the docking bay, their shuttle waiting. As they launched away, the mothership exploded behind them, a brilliant flash lighting up the void of space. Jack watched the destruction, a bittersweet victory etched on his face. In the shuttle, silence reigned as they processed what they had just accomplished. Jack finally spoke, his voice wary but resolute. "We've given humanity a fighting chance. Now, let's make sure we don't waste it." As Earth's horizon came into view, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had struck a critical blow, but the war was far from over. Jack knew they would face many more battles, but for the first time in a long while, he felt hope.